Achievement Celebration, Reflecting Back and Moving Forward, hosted by the Bloomington Commission on the Status of Women. My name is Marissa Farscott, and I am your new city liaison for the commission, so I thought I'd take a quick moment to introduce myself to those of you I don't know, and to also thank you for being here with us this evening for our first in-person event since the Women's History Month luncheon in 2019. So it's been a while. We certainly appreciate your continued support, not only of the commission, but of all the women in our community and all of their many wonderful contributions and endeavors. So with that, I will turn it over to our MCs for the evening, Landry Culp and Ashley Avery.
For joining us tonight. I am Nicole. I am a co-chair for the commission, and this is Ashley Hazelwood, also a co-chair. Tonight we will be honoring our 2022 Women's Achievement Award winners, as well as recognizing our winners from 2020 and 2021 who were unable to celebrate in person due to the pandemic. We are also thrilled to welcome two partners of the commission. First is the Bcsw Capstone Project through the IU O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. The second is Project Edify, a data-driven, youth-led education initiative working to make the teaching of women's history a requirement for all K-12 teachers in Indiana. Throughout this program, we'll be doing some giveaways. When you first came in, you should have gotten a red ticket. If you didn't get one, Marissa could probably get you one. Please keep that ticket handy during our drawing so you'll know if you are a winner. So now, without further ado, let us welcome our City of Bloomington Director of Community Engagement, Mary Kathleen Carmichael.
Everybody, hi, it's so nice to be here with you. I bring greetings from Mayor John Hamilton, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening. He's traveling. We do have Deputy Mayor Don Griffin in the audience, so hey to Don. Mayor Hamilton sends us congratulations to each of the award recipients and a warm welcome to everybody here tonight celebrating, reflecting back, moving forward. I want to make sure I got that right. Thank you to the Commission on the Status of Women and to the Community and Family Resources Department, especially Beverly Calendar Anderson and Marissa Farscott for bringing us all together tonight. Well, I'm delighted to get to serve in Mayor Hamilton's place tonight. I kind of asked for this because I love this event. I've attended this event for many years. Trust me, many years. And I always leave it feeling really proud of the women in this community. And I feel uplifted spending time in their presence when I leave. So I also always learn something here. Maybe it's about a new initiative, some interesting work one of the award winners has done, or just how an old friend I happen to run into is doing. I think you know who you are. We've had a conversation tonight already. Running into old friends is a particular pleasure as we gradually return to the normal, or the new normal now, cadence of our lives. It's been too long since we've gotten together, thanks to the restrictions placed on us by the COVID-19 pandemic. As I look out in the audience today, I see many women who took leadership roles in their community, guiding us throughout this unprecedented health pandemic. And I suspect each one of you also took leadership roles in your family, your workplace, your faith community, and figured things out as we went, like we all did. To wipe down groceries, or not. To wear a mask, or not. To make masks. Should we wear masks? What kind of masks? To Zoom, or not to Zoom? Can I stand another Zoom? The questions with answers that changed over time seemed endless. We had multiple generations to worry about us, or to worry about. The oldest among us, who are particularly vulnerable to this pandemic, they were always in the back of our mind, and the youngest, who until recently weren't even eligible to get vaccinations. We had financial worries, or maybe childcare worries. Sitting here today, among you, there's likely someone who has lost or cared for a loved one, or struggled with their own health through this, be it physical or mental. one of my, I get choked up when I think about this because I love her so much. One of my dear friends, she keeps frozen lasagnas, homemade frozen lasagnas in her freezer. And she gets them out when she hears of someone who's struggling and brings them over, drops them off for them, of course. And I can tell you, she has gone through a lot of noodles and a lot of sauce in a couple of years. In short, we have been dealing with a lot of stuff, which makes today's celebration of the accomplishments of the women we're proud to call our friends all the sweeter. Pandemic restrictions were so difficult because it's in our nature to gather together, and we were prevented from doing so. Our personal well-being, both physical and emotional, is tied to the quality of our friendships and partnerships. So those get-togethers we used to take for granted took on enhanced meaning. Time together nurtures our relationships and roots us in a sense of belonging in our community. You know, I think it's interesting to think about all the reasons we, especially women, make time to be together. We lean on each other, we learn from each other, we uplift each other, we make things together, we serve as free subject matter experts, teachers, and therapists when we're together. During the worst of the pandemic, my friends and I were so desperate to be together that we met 6 feet apart because we're rule followers on one of our porches in 30-degree weather. And really, there wasn't much more than our eyes showing because we had hats and scarves and coats and just could hardly see anything, but it didn't matter because it was just that being together that brought us that comfort. The hot toddies helped also. Author and speaker Brene Brown says that connection is the energy that is created between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they give and receive without judgment. And I think that describes the highest form of togetherness so beautifully. In our divided and divisive world, how wonderful it is when we feel seen, heard, valued, especially without judgment. Of course, that's not always easy to pull off, put into action, but as we go forward with all the hard-earned lessons that we've gained from our various pandemic experiences, wouldn't it be wonderful if prioritizing real connections among ourselves was a result? What incredible outcomes could happen. I got just one more thing. So let's spend our brief time together tonight celebrating our award recipients and each other. We've come through a lot, and now, going forward, we have the great opportunity to take our full and freshly polished appreciation of togetherness and connection with us into our futures. Sharing a meal with friends, just as we've done tonight, can leave us feeling inspired, rejuvenated, and connected. And I hope that's your takeaway tonight. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Mary Catherine, for being here on behalf of the mayor, and then thank you for your continual support of the commission. It means a lot. Now we would like to welcome Commissioner Nicole Bennett, who will share a brief presentation on our capstone report from students at IU's O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. Nicole?
I'm going to stand to the side so you can all see our lovely graphs that we'll have in this presentation. So my name is Nicole Bennett. I'm a commissioner. I am an IU student. I am an IU alum. I am a wife, a stepmother, and soon to be a mother in February. Yeah. The Bloomington Commission on the Status of Women identified that what we are missing in our fight for gender equity is data. So what we asked the capstone at the O'Neill School to do is to comb through the massive amounts of data that the city publishes on their website in order to create a picture of what the state of women in Bloomington and Monroe County was in 2019 and 2020. The capstone gave us 3 deliverables. They gave us a report on gender equity, from which I will share those results with you tonight. Some of them, there's a lot. They created a survey for us. In your program, you'll find a QR code for that survey that we're actually launching tonight. And they also created a grant deliverable for us so that we can look for funding for future surveys or future projects that help support the women of Bloomington. So, what was the impact of COVID-19 on data analysis? The capstone found that 2019 was the best to use as a baseline year of analysis due to the fact that COVID interrupted lots of data collection throughout the country. So you'll see me reference 2019 data, 2020 data, and in some cases 2021 data. But for our baseline, it's 2019. In 2019, the Bloomington Community Survey, which is a survey that the city puts out every 2 years, broke down a wealth of insight into the views of Bloomington residents. The survey, however, did not include breakdowns by race or income. For the sake of the analysis, the capstone didn't include student responses so as to get a more holistic view of the residents of Bloomington and Monroe County. And if you all are interested in some of the more methodological choices, reach out to one of the commissioners and we can give you a full copy of this. It's like a 90-page report if you're interested in some light reading. So what were some of the findings? In 2019, 13.4% of working age Hoosier women compared to 10.1% of working age Hoosier men, and 39% of Hoosier single mothers lived in poverty. Within Monroe County, without additional assistance, 2 parents would have to work nearly 78 hours a week, a combined 156 hours at minimum wage to afford basic needs for 1 preschooler and 1 school-aged child. The graph here shows that for wages for the most common jobs across Indiana in 2019, women make substantially less than men in every role. In the report put together, the full report, you can see this trend happens from their base year of 2014 all the way to their to the year 2019. And I believe that if we went back in time, we would see this trend continuing. They also took a look at housing and homelessness in the community. The Bloomington Commission on Housing completed an in-depth look at affordable housing in 2020. Affordable housing was defined by them as requiring households to pay no more than 30% of their income towards housing. This table at the top of the screen shows that for households that have under $25,000 in annual income, there's a major scarcity in affordable housing, with an 8,785 gap in housing units. Bloomington has a relatively high proportion of households facing high rent, which is defined as that rent that exceeds 30% of monthly income. This finding is consistent with the findings across the state of Indiana and in peer cities across the Midwest. The capstone also looked at indicators of safety. The capstone group broke down the overall feeling of safety and the feeling of safety downtown at night in Bloomington by gender and by income as a part of their project. As you can see here, women in the same income bracket typically feel more unsafe than men in that same income bracket. The capstone also took a look at police citations in the city of Bloomington in 2019 and 2020. In 2019, 66.3% of citations were written to white Bloomington residents, while 13.9% of the citations were written to black Bloomington residents. Considering that only 4% of the Bloomington population identifies as black, and assuming equal citation-worthy activity, black residents are overrepresented in citation data by 245%. This is why data is important. In 2020, this trend continued, with black residents making up a larger share of the citations at 15%. To further break down that citation data, it is notable to note that black men are the most overrepresented group overall, with black women being the second out of all of the gender and race breakdowns. The capstone also took a look at healthcare. Regarding affordable healthcare, low-income women rated Bloomington similarly to other groups, with 48% indicating an excellent or good rating. Low-income women had the highest rating of affordable mental health care among all groups, with high-income women rating the lowest, and low and high-income men rating similarly. This data suggests a broad perception in Bloomington that mental health care is unaffordable, with the possibility that some targeted programs provide relief to low-income women. According to a study conducted by the Herald Times, 66% of children need care outside the home in Monroe County, and only 42% of children are being served in the 115 known early childhood programs. Though most of these facilities are almost at capacity, they cannot serve any more children due to a lack of qualified employees, leaving many families with year-long wait lists for care. In 2019, it would take $20.44 as an hourly wage for one adult and one preschooler in Monroe County to be self-sufficient or to meet their basic needs, including childcare. Affordable childcare is an issue statewide, with the Economic Policy Institute determining that full-time infant care in Indiana costs 39.5% more per year than in-state tuition for a four-year public college. With 26% of the county's young children living in poverty, this high cost of living in childcare seems even more inaccessible to many parents and guardians. Residents of Monroe County who seek childcare have reported being concerned about affordability, accessibility, and choice. In this figure that you can see from the nonprofit Early Learning Indiana, it's showing different capacity designations for access to high-quality childcare in Monroe County. Early Learning Indiana rates Monroe County with a 55.4 capacity index, which means that there is only enough capacity for 55.4% of children of childcare age in certified daycare centers in our county. So after I present that bleak picture to you all, what's next? What's really important is that we start to capture data that can make a difference. The city is already doing an amazing job at capturing data that we can use to make long-term analyses. What we want to do as a commission is continue that trend and expand to ask questions that aren't necessarily being asked that we want to know the stories of. We've hosted listening sessions throughout the year in order to find out what women in the community think are the biggest issues. As you can see by the breakdown in the report, those were what they reported. So in this new survey, we asked questions specifically on those indicators. So if you take a picture of this QR code or you look on the second page of your report, please take the time to fill out the survey. Please share it with your family and friends. We're going to be collecting data throughout the fall, and we have an additional capstone who at the end of the fall will be analyzing the data, and we'll be making that report public as well. If you have any questions on this report or anything that the commission is doing, find one of the commissioners. We're all wearing tags, or find Marissa, and we're happy to share that with you. Thank you so much.
It's an emergency. My bright orange. How is everybody doing? My name is Ashley Hazelrigg. They did introduce me at the beginning. I'm the co-chair of the Commission on the Status of Women. I would like to welcome you all here. It's great to see people in person for the first time since 2019. Honestly, it's just a breath of fresh air. So moving forward, as Nick said, yes, there is a lot of work to be done, but there's good stuff going on, and we are going to celebrate that this evening. And the first thing that I think we're going to do to move forward is do a little giveaway. So you should have a red ticket.
And I should too.
And our giveaways this evening are gift baskets containing products from local women-owned business. So our first winner, 931-9186. Did you win? Yay! Alrighty. Can you hear me? Cool. Okay. Recently, the commission was introduced to two phenomenal young women, both of whom are freshmen at Bloomington High School South. Not only did they agree to become the Commission on the Status of Women's official high school liaisons, they also shared with us a very impressive project that they've been working on, and we think you will be very impressed too. We're pleased to welcome Elise Irwin and Delaney Thompson.
Hi, I'm Delaney. I'm Elise. And we are both freshmen at South High School. We met in 4th grade at Binford Elementary, and we became fast friends for many reasons, but one of them was our shared passion for feminism. But it wasn't until about last fall that we decided to turn this passion into a project. This was about the time of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing, and the first time that we heard of her death was also the first time that we heard of her. And when we realized the incredible things that this woman had done for law and done for our country, this wasn't okay with us. We then started reflecting on all the strong and influential women that we had been inspired by as kids, and realized that every single one of them we had learned about through outside resources and never in the classroom.
So as we begin to see these problems, our lack of knowledge for these women, instead of sitting around and just recognizing it was a problem, we decided to turn it into a project. So we chose the acronym EDIFY to represent our project because the word edify means to instruct or to improve, and that's our goal. We want to empower, diversify, and instruct feminist youth.
We are currently in the process of creating a project-based learning unit on women in STEM that is going to be implemented into 5th grade classrooms this year.
So with our project, we think an important goal is to collect data from across the state to be interpreted by us, and just so we can see where students stand on their current knowledge of women's history in education.
Our main goal is to incorporate a women's history unit into MCCSE standards, which we're doing with our project-based learning unit, but also into Indiana state standards.
So when we began this project, we started by looking at what was currently required to be taught in the Indiana standards, and we found it was very lacking. In 3rd grade, no women's history is required to be taught. In 4th grade, women's history is a suggested example of a topic that they could mention within another unit. In 5th grade, women's history is required to be recognized within the American Revolution unit, but in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, no women's history is required to be taught. Indiana schools seem to make women's history unrecognized and unimportant.
According to the National Women's History Museum, only 178 women are required to be taught grades K through 12, 98 of them only appearing once. Over half of these women fall within domestic roles, and only 8 come from STEM fields. There is only 1 Asian or Pacific Islander mentioned. 4 are first ladies, and 2 are fictional characters. On the rare occasion that women's history is required to be taught, it is always within a unit dominated by the other sex.
So as we began to look at this, we decided we would conduct a survey. We sent it out to Jackson Creek, and this was when we were still at Jackson Creek, and we surveyed the entire class that was there, 7th and 8th grade. And we showed them a picture of a famous female and a famous man, and they were tasked to name them. So this is what the questions looked like. So when we analyzed this data, we found that the results were really disappointing. Abraham Lincoln is the longest bar on this graph, and down are all the men. And then above that are the women. So as you can see, the recognition of females was significantly less than the recognition of the men. Women like Ada Lovelace and Susan B. Anthony had rates of 3% recognition, and the only woman who had a higher rate of recognition than men was Harriet Tubman. Christopher Columbus, who's been currently recognized as doing things that were not beneficial for this country and what we stand for now, has a higher rate of recognition than 7 out of 8 of the women. So when we looked at our survey, we also asked students if they thought women's history was important and relevant to be talked about. And overwhelmingly, 86% of the students said yes, they thought women's history was important and that they should be learning about it. But there was still that 8% that said no. And we looked at the data and we found that majority of those students were boys. So why should they care? Why does women's history affect all of the students? Well, we looked at in-school and workplace benefits of this, and we found that in an Editopia survey conducted, students learning a diverse education had higher involvement in society as they got older. And at a high school in California, the students in their diverse education, in their diverse history class, had higher GPAs than the other students. So it's clearly benefiting everybody.
In addition to all these in-school benefits, there are numerous workplace benefits as well. Fortune 500 companies who had more women on their board significantly financially outperformed companies that had less. Studies also found that people who worked for female managers reported that they suffered less burnout and were more engaged in their work. These female managers are also more likely to use effective leadership skills and less gender discrimination when employing others. They also found that companies with more female managers on average produced about 20% more patents than teams led by males. And Fortune's most reputable companies have about twice as many females in senior leadership positions than less reputable companies. So how many of you have ever gotten a vaccine? Over the past couple years, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the COVID vaccine has saved numerous lives. We have also become incredibly dependent on Wi-Fi, invented by Hedy Lamarr, and computer programming, invented by Grace Hopper. So we can all agree that female contributions are desperately needed by this world, even if it's just the daily pleasures of a cup of coffee, chocolate chip cookie, or central heating that we couldn't live without.
All right. So one of our most important goals was to identify a women's history standard to be required to be taught in Indiana schools. So this is an example of what that could look like. Identify, describe, and discuss women's roles in science, arts, education, sports, and government. So this is just an example. We're going to be working with people, obviously, to write a more accurate and scientific that's the word I'm looking for. Official document, but this is just an example of what we may base it on.
Mm-hmm. We have a meeting coming up with one of our senators, and so we are actually tonight raffling off these earrings that both Elise and I are wearing. We've worn them to every presentation that we've gone to so far, numerous legislators, senators, faculty, stuff like that. And so if you would like a pair, we are selling them for donations, and you can come up and talk to me, or I can walk around with them if you're interested. They're also going to be in these bags that we're raffling off over here.
They're attached to business cards that have information. We found that connections have been really, really important in helping our project get further. So our emails are on there. If you have any connections that may be helpful to getting outreach for this project, that would be greatly appreciated. Like Delaney said, we've been able to talk to senators and people across the school system who have been able to help us grow our project. Mm-hmm. So thank you for listening.
Yes, this is Project Edify.
Nothing looked like this. You guys are light years ahead of where I was. I mean, it's just so inspirational every time I hear your presentation. I'm in awe of what you guys are doing and moving forward with. So we're also going to do a giveaway. They're going to choose a ticket for another giveaway for women themed books, children's books that we're gonna do next. So just choose one. You want to read that number out?
We have 931-9185.
Draw another number. 931-9172. Elise.
Okay. 931-9173. That's me.
Doesn't really seem fair, does it? All right, I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm sure you'll find a worthy cause to donate those books to, maybe a school or preschool or somewhere might want them. Thank you again so much to Elise and Delaney for sharing their project with you. One more time for these young ladies. All of that work is from them, and they're just kids, but they're more than just kids, obviously. They're so bright, and the future is bright, too. Thank you so much, young ladies. And I'm looking forward to seeing more from you two in the future. So next, we are going to recognize our 2022 award winners, and I will introduce Beverly Calendar Anderson.
Thank you, Ashley. So I have a t-shirt before I get started. So I have a t-shirt, which I really believe in, and it says, "Everything dope about America comes from Chicago." But after listening to Elise and Delaney, I think I'm going to have to amend it a little bit, and Bloomington. So I am Beverly Calendar Anderson. I'm the director of the Community and Family Resources Department for the city. And it is my honor to be able to present the Emerging Leader Award. The Emerging Leader Award acknowledges a woman with a relatively short history of significant achievements and recognizes the potential for future contributions. I think when I read off the contributions of this young woman, you will think that she has been in this work for a very, very long time. But it is a relatively short period of time considering, you know, my age. But it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Nichelle Wash, who is our 2022 Emerging Leader. Nichelle's service to her community is multifaceted. At work, Nichelle is Associate Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the Education Advisory Board. She is also the founder and CEO of the Garden LLC, which provides intensive personalized training in diversity, equity, and inclusion to businesses, agencies, and organizations across the region. She is active in community organizations and in projects addressing hunger, education, and economic and social development. Nichelle is chair of the Monroe County Women's Commission, and as chair, she is passionate about advancing the quality of life for all women, young and old, in Monroe County. Under Nichelle's guidance, the Monroe County Women's Commission has partnered with Ivy Tech and Indiana University and the local Girl Scouts to develop the Girls Coding Camp as a free after-school training. The program now receives regular funding from the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. During the pandemic, Nichelle was involved in the launch of the Monroe County Food Train, which served Bloomington's most vulnerable residents through the collaborative efforts of many volunteers and local businesses. And more recently, she became a board member of the New Tandem Community Birth Center and Postpartum House, which will open at the end of the year. Nichelle is described as a powerhouse of ideas for community change, a force to be reckoned with, as well as an exceptional role model for women and girls in the community. Please join me in congratulating Nichelle Wash, our 2022 Emerging Leader. She doesn't want to sing.
Okay, you know what? Good evening, everyone. I don't really know what to say because I'm still kind of shocked that I'm getting this award. I came to Bloomington for school 11 years ago. Thought I was doing 4 and out of this place. And now I'm here and I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I continue to love this community. So thank you for everyone being here to celebrate. Thank you for doing such justice with acknowledging me, and I hope everyone enjoys the evening. Thank you.
Hi, I have the pleasure of announcing our 2022 Young Woman of the Year. It's Rebecca Turner. Rebecca, why don't you stand up and start taking your glory early so everybody can see. Come on up here. She has a lot to be proud of. At just 17 years old, Rebecca Turner demonstrates exceptional leadership and a fierce support of women in her role as the senior patrol leader of Scouts BSA Troop 1148. Rebecca is a founding member of Troop 1148, which was created after the Boy Scouts of America changed their membership requirements to allow girls to form their own troops. Scouts BSA is a youth-led organization, and Rebecca was selected almost unanimously by her peers to lead Troop 1148, which not only involves leading meetings, but also planning outings, service projects, and activities. You could be the public engagement director for Bloomington next. After successfully completing the Hoosier Trails Council's National Youth Leadership Training during her first year in Scouting, Rebecca's leadership abilities inspired the Hoosier Trails Council to bring her back as a staff member in following years. In addition, she recently taught at the annual Scout Summer Camp at Maumee Scout Reservation, leading groups of 11 to 17-year-olds on wilderness adventures. Currently a Life Scout, Rebecca is working toward earning the highest rank of Eagle, Scouting's highest honor. Driven by a passion for helping other women and girls, her Eagle Scout project, you're going to love this, will benefit Sojourn House, a transitional living facility helping women to heal from abuse and human trafficking. Let's give that. Rebecca has been described as courageous, humble, and compassionate. She's a mediator, a confidant, a supportive friend, and a devoted daughter and sister. The mark she leaves on this world will no doubt be one filled with dedication, grace, and leadership. Please join us in congratulating Rebecca Turner on being the 2020 Young Woman of the Year.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having me tonight, and thank you so much for congratulating me with this award. I still have no idea how to feel about this. It's good feelings, just really awkward. Thank you all.
I'm back. And I have the honor of presenting the 2022 Toby Strout Lifetime Contribution Award, which will be given to Ms. Delcy Body, yes, named for the former director of the Middleway House and former Bloomington Commission on the Status of Women's Commissioner. The Toby Strout Lifetime Contribution Award recognizes a woman whose work has significantly improved the lives of others through leadership and service. Our 2022 Toby Strout Lifetime Contribution Award winner is Ms. Delcy Bodie. Body. I keep saying it wrong, I'm so sorry. For many years, Ms. Bodie has been a positive force, not just for children and families in our community, but also for people experiencing homelessness, elders, and students. She has a lifelong commitment to feeding, nurturing, and empowering those around her, which she has demonstrated over the course of decades, and even to me tonight. She's wonderful, I can tell already. In 1995, Ms. Bodie founded Cry of the Children, an organization that aims to improve the quality of life for adolescents through advocacy and mentorship. She is a mother figure to many of the children and their parents that she has served through Cry of the Children, and that service continues to this day. An anecdote of her advocacy and mentorship, Mrs. Bodie once became a first director of Bloomington High School North Step Team. The African-American young ladies who did not make the cheerleading team still desired a way to support their school. So they reached out to faculty about starting a step team. They were told that if they could find an adult sponsor to help them, they would move forward with their plan. These young women went directly to Mrs. Bodie. I'm terrible. And thus Bloomington High School North Step Team became a reality. In addition to her support of the youth in our community, Mrs. Bodie also hosts an annual Thanksgiving dinner for those in need. Over the years, she has gathered a large group of volunteers to assist her with the growing task, and they remain committed to helping her pull it off year after year. She was undeterred when COVID-19 made it impossible for her to meet and serve people experiencing homelessness in person, and she has long been accustomed to doing it. She continued to deliver meals to those who needed them and drop off food at the Wheeler Mission. She consistently serves people of all ages in simple yet vital ways, whether it is cooking meals for single-parent families, taking elders to their appointments, or driving kids to school when they miss the bus. Mrs. Bodie exemplifies the spirit of selflessness, fellowship, and service to others. We are a better community because of her efforts. Please join us in congratulating Ms. Delcy Bodie in 2022 Toby Strout Lifetime Achievement Award.
Because when you do stuff because you have a passion, you don't expect this. But I thank you all. I got a bouquet of flowers from a family that lost their daughter several years ago. And that's Mrs. Sims. She's sitting right there. She has no idea how that touched my heart. When you lose someone you love, but you can still congratulate me. I think that's powerful. When we can find ourselves to do the little things that people think that doesn't mean much. And I thank my family for being here. Can my daughters raise their hands? Coach Bodie, so I'm not going to call any names, but I am going to thank you. Yes, Marissa.
My pleasure.
Yes, and the other young lady that called me and she said, I called you and you didn't know what to say. Where's she at? Yeah. Then I would like for all of my friends and family that was able to make it to please stand. My lawyers, stand again. And don't leave yet, Miss Brown. Come on, Miss Brown, stand up. When they were talking about the kids at North that was in the step team, they came from Highland Park Elementary. She was one of those. She just wrote a book, and she's got a program in Indianapolis that can't wait. I thank God and thank you.
none of this was expected. You guys are just doing great work, and we're so thrilled to be recognizing that. So next, the Commission's Woman of the Year Award is presented to a woman who has improved the quality of life for other women through inspiration, community service, or professional accomplishments, has made outstanding contributions to the community, and serves as a positive role model for girls and women alike. It is our pleasure to announce our 2022 Woman of the Year, Courtney Payne Taylor. This is totally your choice. You have done so much, and I've got a good amount to share. So if you want to stay up here, that's totally fine. If you want to sit down, it's totally fine too. But there's a lot that I have to tell all these people about you. All right. Courtney's love of skateboarding began right here in Bloomington at Cascades Park, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have been to, in 2004, when she took her younger brother to the skate park for the grand opening. But soon after, she began to feel a strong growing frustration with the very obvious gender disparity she saw within the sport. This frustration, armed with a vision and a fan, led her to found GROW, Girls Riders Organization, in 2006. Originally headquartered in New York City, GROW started running coast-to-coast workshops from 2006 through 2011 that solely focused on teaching girls how to skate. Then in 2011 through 2016, GROW also began helping local girls continue the GROW mission by starting chapters in their own communities, so spreading it out. Now with chapters across 11 states, GROW has taught over 25,000 girls to skate. It's also helped lay the foundation for women's skateboarding in the Olympics, and has been recognized nationally by ESPN Women and NBC's Inspiring America. In 2017, Courtney relocated back to Bloomington, which I think we call a bloomerang, where GROW is now headquartered. She began running community Learn to Skateboard workshops at the warehouse in 2017, partnered with Girls Inc. to provide a skateboard program for youth organizations, and in 2018 developed the first skateboard program for the Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington, which is still running today. The GROW skateboard program is under development to be offered at other Boys and Girls Clubs across the nation. Again, spreading this out, meaning this partnership has the opportunity to help reach more girls than ever before. In addition to that, Courtney is currently the operations director for Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington. Courtney's unique and remarkable story is a testimony to her drive, work ethic, and unwavering motivation to promote self-confidence in young women, not only in a sport that often overlooks them, but also in their lives as a whole. It is impossible to say how many thousands of young women she has already influenced and empowered through her work thus far, and we are certain there will be many, many more. Please join us in congratulating our 2022 Woman of the Year, Courtney Payne.
Thank you all so very much. And again, I'm going to echo what everyone else says. I think when we do things, we're just doing small things. Great things come from small things that we just know we need to do. It doesn't feel exceptional when we do them. It just feels right. And I just want to say the city of Bloomington, I'm honored to be recognized from the city of Bloomington, because the ESPNW and all of those things came from when I wasn't in Bloomington, but I was also hitting the ceiling, as it was, and what to do next. How can I reach more kids? And I didn't have an answer. And all I knew was I have to come back to Bloomington, because this is where I'm going to find my answer. And it was, Jeff Baldwin is here today, found me at a Rotary meeting, brought me to Boys and Girls Club, and that is going to be the avenue that's going to help this reach so many more girls. And I love this town. Seeing you two speak, recognizing you, Rebecca, I mean, this future, I know a lot of people are worried about what does the future of our world look like.
But whenever we see young people like you, I'm not worried about the future of our world. There are a lot of great women around us.
All right, so we're going to do another giveaway. So get out your red tickets. The next one is 9319172. Oh, did we just read that one? Okay, well, congratulations. She had won her own book, so it didn't make sense.
Okay, now, although we are a year past, we would like to recognize our 2021 Women Achievement Award winners. During the height of the pandemic, we have local women bringing their grit and grind to lift up Bloomington when times were not easy. Thankfully, we were able to celebrate these women from a distance with a video recording acknowledging their accomplishments in the community. We'd like to give them an in-person round of applause this evening for those that are here with us tonight, and to send that applause out to those who couldn't make it. I'll read the awards and names, so please hold your applause until the end. Now, please join me in recognizing our 2021 Woman of the Year, Penny Caudle, our 2021 Emerging Leader, Abby Eng, and our 2021 Toby Stroud Lifetime Contribution Award winner, Kathleen Butler. While in 2021, we were able to compile a video for our award winners, like many other events in 2020, we were forced to cancel our award ceremony entirely when we were just a few weeks away. With that, we'd also like to celebrate the 2020 Women's Achievement Award winners here in person. If you are here with us tonight, please stand when I call your name so we can send all of our thanks and praise toward you for the past and continual impact that you have had on our community. And as a note, please hold your applause. So we actually had not one, but two winners for our 2020 Woman of the Year, Dr. Tashira Perry and Jessica Hank. Our 2020 Toby Stroud Lifetime Contribution winner was Beth Lodge Regal. Our 2020 Emerging Leader was Shatoya Moss. And our 2020 Young Woman of the Year was Solveig Sander Hicks. Congratulations to all these women on their well-deserved awards, and we are honored to recognize you again here tonight.
All right, two more giveaways. So the next one is 9319162. All right, the last one, 9319149.
That was ours, yeah.
Okay. What's happening tonight?
We need to shake that box up.
Oh, but it just draw somebody's. Oh. Okay. 9319167.
Once again, I do want to thank you all for joining us tonight to celebrate the women of Bloomington who are making this impact. One more final round of applause. We see how everyone can be part of the work towards equity, whether it's by buying from women-owned businesses or supporting causes that are specifically impacting women. Your support is invaluable, no matter how small. Just like all of our winners said, doing something small creates something great. Before we go, the commission would like to give a special thank you to the Barr Center for Contemporary Arts for housing this event. It's a beautiful venue, and we were very excited to be here tonight. We also want to give a special thanks to the Director of Community and Family Resources in the City of Bloomington, Ms. Beverly Anderson, for her guidance and support. We also would like to encourage you to complete the Bcsw Gender Equity Survey by scanning your QR code. And there's a couple more things I was asked to talk about. One was we do have a vacancy on the commission, so if you are interested in serving, please check out the City of Bloomington's website. And
We have a survey code, or a feedback survey on the back of the program.
yes, there's also an event feedback survey on the back of your program, completely different from the gender equity survey. Please do both. As always, please feel free to join us at any upcoming meetings. They are public meetings held on the first Thursday of the month at City Hall. For more ways that you can be involved. Another plug that I think is kind of just more of a passion thing for me, but still part of the BCSW, we have a scholarship opportunity for women's leadership. Please look at that on our website as well. And I think that is all of the things that I have to say. Thank you again so much for joining us this evening. So happy to see people in person. Continue to enjoy some food and refreshments and the fellowship with us. Thank you again.